Hey, I'm Jim Turner, Release Boatworks. We're here today in Stuart, Florida, MVP PZ. I think it's Marine Ventilation Products and Petting Zoo. You see.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. Hi, I'm Mike Murray, president of Marine Ventilation Products. Been doing this type of work, this niche genre of the marine industry for, 25 years. And what we do is we design and manufacture engine room ventilation equipment for boats and yachts and ships. Just quickly, what we do with Release Boatworks is Jim or Mike or somebody will send me an email and say, hey, we've got this new product, a new hull. It's this. These are the engines, the generators. This is the geometry of the hull. We sit down and do thermodynamic analysis and say, okay, well, in order for this to really be adequately ventilated, you need about this much space of opening. And then we'd like to provide these fans for you to cool down the space and so on and so forth. So, there's a lot of different options we can do. We can automate the fans. We can, put fire dampers if need be, but we work together. And it's great working with Jim and everybody there. Jim and I have been friends for a long time, and it makes it a lot of fun. It's a good time to work together. Okay, so now that we've talked about a little bit of the theory on how we work with Release Boatworks to design systems, let's go out in the shop and I'll show you kind of the nuts and bolts of how we manufacture the different product lines of the parts that we make. Come on.
So we're here on the shop floor at Murray Ventilation Products. So let's go take a look around.
Yeah, I'll show you.
Give us a tour.
So we have 4 major product lines that we manufacture here, being mist eliminators and grills, fans and blowers, fire dampers, and electronic controls. Our biggest sector is the mist eliminators, and then we'll walk through here. I'll show you how that gets started. The way all this starts in the beginning, whether it be customer production boats, is with some preemptive engineering. We put drawings together based on thermodynamic necessities for the boat, and once we have approval drawings all set, then what we do is we make shop drawings with the PVC products that most of the production boats and most of the custom boats use. We start with flat sheet PVC, and the PVC gets put on one of our CNC routers, and then the pattern is cut out. It's cut out flat. If you can imagine a cardboard box, how it's flat with V-grooves on it. When the parts get cut out, they're flat, so Yoni is cleaning them up here, and then we take it over here to a heat strip table where the V-grooves on the edges are heated up and they get soft, and then you bend the box up and you wind up with something like this. So it's 90-degree edges. So once that's all done, then the frame goes over to our welding department. Follow me. After the box is folded up, in order to maintain watertight integrity, we weld the inside corners here, so that makes this a sealed box. So concurrent to this frame being made, the actual louver pack that you see back here also has to be produced. So files are cut with that. We either use PVC or aluminum, mostly PVC for most of the applications. And we have an auto feed tiger stop table, and we cut the pieces to fit, and then they get assembled together and to create a cartridge which goes into the frame. So when we weld it, there's a two-step part. First we tack it just with some heat, and then after that it goes to to the actual welding, which uses a PVC welding rod. All right, so here we see this is an asymmetrical face drain unit that we're doing. We're refitting a 45 Game Fisherman as the boat that used to be the Chief.
Oh yeah,
at Slippery Slope now.
I thought it was a keyboard and you were going to be playing
right?
the local club.
You wish. So anyway, so you can see everything's tight and rigid. It all fits in there. On this one is a face drain, so you see the bottom is angled. So what that does is it promotes the water to caught by the louvers down through here into the sump area and back out the face. Gregorio is cleaning up the faceplate. So then this faceplate will go on here so that these drain slots line up with the bottom, and then it gets mounted. This would be the wet side. Gets mounted in the boat, drains down. So this is actually going to mount inside of the hull vent in a chamber. So this won't be visible from the outside. So that's why we made it black, so it blends in. So we also do a lot of commercial work and some military work, and sometimes those products aren't PVC, but they're aluminum. You can see we have some aluminum louvers there, and then over here behind the forklift, we have some aluminum frames. So these are going on some ocean-going tugboats. Same process, except instead of the PVC, we use aluminum, and then usually these will wind up getting primed and painted. We have a paint booth here as well, so we do all that epoxy coating ourselves. And that pretty much encompasses the mist eliminators. Sometimes we incorporate, as you know, we put DC fans on them, and that all gets done here at the finishing table.
Can we show the inside of one of these, or is that proprietary?
No. 25 years ago, it was hard to sell this product because people didn't understand how it worked. This is the guts of a mist eliminator, the profile pack as we call it. If this was in a boat, this is the port side, that's forward, that's outboard. So as you run forward, most of your spray is going to come like this on an angle. So just purely through centrifugal force, the air and the water come in here, and then as the air turns, the water being heavier gets pinned against this surface, and as it comes in here, it gets caught by the hook. Then it drains out the bottom. And then depending on how the frame is, it either drains back overboard into a plenum box or into a sump through a hose barb and back out. Then you'll see as the air turns the other way, there's a smaller hook to catch if there's anything left over, and then what comes through is dry air. And these things are like 99% efficient under most circumstances. Of course, if you submerge the opening, you can get water through, but you know,
water is heavier than air.
By and large, I mean, it saves everybody's equipment. We put these boats in the worst place you can put them, and that just helps it to survive a little better.
Every release hull since hull number 1 has had this product and Mike's product in there. And every game fisherman.
Yeah. Another big product line we have is fans and blowers. You'll see here some larger axial fans. These are going on a commercial vessel. I'm not sure if it's a pilot boat or a fire boat or a police boat or something, but typically these are aluminum housings, and it's a 3-phase motor and then a whole different slew of blade configurations. So when a customer has a need for, they give us a package with engines and so forth, we actually design the fan to fit the application. So diameter, horsepower, and then type of blade and pitch, we can conform that so that it gets enough air. And then we also design, unlike sportfish boats, this boat, all the air will be fans in and out. So we have a little bit bigger fans for intake, smaller for exhaust. It leaves enough air in there for combustion, so it's get a throughput of cooling air and enough left there for the engines to use, and it should be about, even. All of our fans, like I said, we build all those in-house here, and anything from 11-inch diameter up there, that's a 53-inch diameter steel house that went in a big commercial vessel. And then as well as centrifugal blowers. Like we have over here a whole pile of them. This is for a big commercial project we're working on. And those are 4, 6, and 8-inch centrifugal blowers with 3-phase motors on them. That happens to be a project that has a ton of different machinery spaces, not combustion machinery, but workshops, and everyone needed to be ventilated, so we're supplying for each spot. Most of the sportfish boats you'll see the small DC fans, and those are quite simply, they're marinized radiator fans. They're IP68, pretty much waterproof. And what we'll do with that is we'll mount a PVC box onto the mist eliminator, and they get mounted right to that. And that's pretty much it. We do some smaller fans, head extraction fans, things like that. Next would be fire dampers. When we talk about fire dampers, we have 2 different types of fire dampers. You'll see the aluminum frames here behind you. The frames are welded, and they're getting ready to go to powder coating. Those are multi-blade. Most of those will be electrically actuated. Some customers use pneumatic actuation, depending on what their needs are.
Is there like a size boat that once you get to this size boat, it's a good idea to have this, but below this size,
it's not necessarily the size of the boat. Classification societies dictate whether or not you have, like if the boat's going to Europe, I don't care what size it has to have some sort of closure on it. ABS boats, like subchapter T boats, commercial boats, they have to have some sort of fire damper. And then you get into Lloyd's and MCA, and then those don't use the aluminum fire dampers. Those use an A60 fire damper, which we have some in stock here, which are stainless steel, and they're rated to survive. That when they test them, they burn them in a furnace at 1760 F for an hour. And after the hour, they still have to maintain integrity, maintain a temperature differential across the face, and not sag or open or anything. So those are pretty, they're expensive, but the process of getting them certified is very expensive.
So this ends up being all connected to like your halon system?
Yeah.
Everything, so?
Yep, so this will tie into our controls as well, but the fire system, the dampers, if they have an electronic control, then the wires for the actuator will go through a relay that's tied in with the fire system. So when the fire system discharges, the relay, which is normally closed, lets power through. The dampers are held open with power. So it'll open the relay, cut power, and then they'll spring return close, or as they call fail safe. All right, so when we talk about our fan controls, our system controls, there's really 2 or 3 different types. The ones that we use in production boats with the DC fans is our little DC control. So this little box has this board in it, and this will control 2 fans. And what it does is there's also an external thermostat that'll be mounted in the engine room in a hot spot, up high, probably aft near the exhaust. And then the fans, if you left them on auto, will run in 2 speeds. So you have the first setting, say you put it 95 F, the second setting you put it 105. So they'll come on at 95 F at half speed, and they'll loaf at half speed. You can hardly hear them. In fact, twice now we've had customers call, these fans aren't working, but they were on low, they couldn't hear them. But then when you reach the upper temperature, they come on full speed. And then likewise, they cool back down and shut off. So you can also switch to manual and then have half and full speed control. So it's pretty versatile. It's very inexpensive. And it's kind of a, set it and forget it type of thing. You don't have to worry about it. So, but once you get away from that and you go towards the larger fans like we had out there that we just showed, this is a control that a lot of commercial boats use that don't want all the bells and whistles, but they want to be able to control the fans. So the fan is powered by, 230 volt up to 460 volt. Then you have a VFD, a variable frequency drive. And then the VFD runs through this, which this one's just a manual control. So we have reverse, off, forward, and then you can ramp. So this is for 2 fans. So you ramp each fan up. You can have each fan. So with this one, the fans ramp up together. Yeah. So we can also do it so that you have 2 switches and 2 speed pots. So each fan can be done. We don't get to do thermodynamic analysis every time. And if you don't balance the fans, it can create a mess, either too much pressure or not enough, and you get a vacuum. So they can balance the fan flow a little bit and make sure that you don't have overpressure or even worse, under pressure. Then to step up from there, a lot of the big mega yachts and some of the bigger production yachts use our automated control. And this is just a test module, but incorporates a touch screen, which can be mounted on the bridge. It can be in the engine room. We can have redundancy, and it's a PLC. So there's 2 different types of controls we have with that. One is just temperature. It's basically just like the DC, but it's a 3-phase version. Same thing. All the fans run through VFDs, through variable frequency drives, and it ramps the temperature up and down. In that situation, your combustion air has to be through natural draft, like the Sportfish boats do. Or what the fully automated controls, where everything is delivered with fans, we call forced draft ventilation. We have an automated control that controls the intake fans with engine room vacuum. So as the engines suck air in and create a vacuum, there's a differential pressure sensor that has 1 port in the engine room, 1 port outside, not in the breeze, not in the wind, that senses the difference in barometric pressure. So when that starts to increase, the intake fan ramps up until it reaches, we usually set it at negative 0.1 inches of static, which is imperceptible. You couldn't feel it opening the door. So then that reaches a balance. The exhaust fans are controlled by temperature. So as it gets hot, the exhaust fans eject air, creating more of a vacuum, which the intake fans react and create a balance. So that's ultra important that we have a good balance. And that pretty much is it. We are working on a variable speed head control, a multi-zone head control that'll work similar to the DC control, where it comes on if you do 1 or 2 heads. Let's say you're in a big Sportfish boat, it's got 4 heads. You turn one switch on, it goes half speed with the blower, and a damper opens, so just that head is evacuating air. Somebody goes in the second one, now it stays at half speed, but the second one opens. Taco Tuesday, and somebody got a bad taco, and now everybody's in the heads, and then it goes up to full speed. So we're working through that in R&D right now. So we'll have that for production here shortly.
So obviously there's a whole lot more than y'all ever thought to think about. My head hurts already.
I have that effect on people.
I'm thinking I want to buy a sailboat. So that was it. That's the shop tour of Marine Ventilation Products. Thanks, Mike, for having us here.
Thanks for coming.
If you want to learn more about Mike's company, right here.
Yep.
MurrayVentilationProducts.com, I assume.
MurrayVentilation.com. If you want to email me, it's mike@MurrayVentilation.com, and drop me a line.
There you go.